Hello, everyone. My name is Gus.
Hi, I'm Woody.
And today we are not only trying the new studio, but we're reacting to an interesting video that involves a very basic, well, maybe not basic, but a very, very important skill, which is the deployment of the Surface Marker Buoy. Now, why is that important, Woody?
Well, listen, it's not an easy skill. I just want to start off by saying that, right? I don't want people to think that this is expected to go perfect for you the first time. But an SMB, especially here where I am now in South Florida, is going to be extremely important because here, when you have drift diving, that is the way the boat is going to find you. So what we do here in South Florida is we actually, if you're not diving with a floating flag above you, you're basically going to fire your SMB and then the boat will see you. And then you slowly wind the SMB up and you stop at your stops, like probably a safety stop, with the SMB sticking up at the surface, and you're drifting. So the boat can then be there when you come to the surface. The boat should be pretty nearby.
That's right.
It is also used in the case of a delay that you weren't expecting or an emergency. And when that happens, there's sort of a universal signal that we actually will tie two together and send two up. And that's a sign of we have a problem. Like whatever the problem is doesn't matter, but it was something that wasn't planned in the dive. So it's very, very important for that. It can be, Gus, used also, although I've never, ever had to do this or even seen it be done as an additional lift device.
That's right.
Like, let's say you flood your dry suit and your wing is broken for some reason, right? We do a skill. I know you've done the skill in your training where you blow up the SMB, but you kind of put it like this.
Yeah.
And you're laying over it as an additional flotation device because you're, for some reason, not able to maintain buoyancy. So it can
kind
be
of like
used
a pool noodle, when you're in the
like
pool and you have like it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So that's just off the top of my head. So it is critical in South Florida also that you may say, a lot of people will say, well, but I'm with the guide, right? They're floating a flag the whole way. You have to float something the whole way in South Florida. It's the law. You have to dive with a flag going with you.
Yeah.
But what happens if you're blown out? Or what happens if you jump in South Florida and you and I have seen this.
You lose
and you can't get down as fast as the team because you have ear problems. They're flying, man, because they do what are called hot drops. And a hot drop means they drop you and down. You enter negatively because they're trying to make you, they try to time it to where you're going to land right on the wreck. Does that make sense? You're drifting, jump off the back of the boat, you're drifting, and by the time you hit the bottom, you should be on the wreck because you can't swim against the current. Well, what happens if you can't get down and you get separated from your group? Yep. Everybody has to have an SMB and a reel on a boat in South Florida because if you get separated, frankly, at that point, you're immediately going to deploy it. Immediately, your dive is over, and they'll come get you. So you don't want to lose buoyancy. You don't want to get it tangled. You don't want to be out of control. You don't want to get it in your fins. It's easier to maintain trim. I always tell students to be slightly head down because you're going to blow air in it, right? So start kicking a little bit, going down a little because in a second, it's going to start pulling you up and then like and hold it out to the side. Let it go up. And I like to use a finger reel. It's not mandatory, but I use that with the bolt snap double ender. And I sort of use that to lock it off at various stages. Okay. So that's my SMB spiel.
I'm glad that you mentioned the risk of entanglement because some of the configuration, and today we're reacting to a video where multiple people are practicing their SMB deployments in a controlled place. They're in open water, but they're pretty shallow, so it's controlled. They're practicing. But I want both of us to comment on some of the configurations because I feel like there's no standard, like there no agencies pushing for this is the way you set up an SMB. No one is doing that. So there's a ton of different ways to do it. And this is one of the skills also that I've noticed in open water classes that some instructors just skim over. Like they do it like, just do it in the pool, standing on the shallow, inflate it, show it to me that it's full, and let's move on, right? There's no practice. So let's watch a video of some people practicing and let's comment on it.
Okay.
Okay, so here we are. He's deploying the SMB.
Wow. By the way, I think it looks great. I'm just
good trim, right?
Yeah, totally. And
awesome.
in control. I love that there's no rush going on here.
Yeah.
Now, what I can't tell, Gus, is his reel already connected to the SMB, or is he now trying to get that done while he's underwater?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it was already connected, but one of the things that you're going to see here, which is a problem that happens a lot, is not enough inflation, right? He didn't add almost any air. Like he made it to the surface, but you can see it's like a completely deflated. That is one of the things that you notice when you're starting to practice, and that's something you get better with over time.
Yeah, I actually like the SMBs, Gus, that I can take my low pressure inflator hose, or in fact, connect a separate low pressure inflator hose to your tank and just plug it in, and it's instantly inflated. There's no like boo holding it down, right? Because if you got to blow it up, you got to take the rag out. You're like, maybe you got enough air in it, but you put that low pressure inflator hose on it, man. That's like, let it go. Remember, it's going to expand depending on your depth. It could expand dramatically. The air.
I think that there is the reason why some people don't add enough air is that they're afraid that if they add too much air, it would take them up with them, or it will go up too fast. And I think if there's one advantage to inflating it manually, is that it works like a rebreather, right? Whatever air is coming out of your lungs is going to the SMB, so your buoyancy is not affected because you're losing air as you're putting it on the SMB. So that is one advantage, right?
Certainly the ability to control it more. So maybe that's a good way to practice while you're learning.
Yeah. And so here we have diver number 2. In this case, this diver, she doesn't have the SMB connected, so you can see what's prone to happen, which is dropping it, right? Drops the SMB. So let's watch. Drops, whoop, caught it, stayed on trim, pretty good. Trim is being affected a little bit, but still calm, but attaching, you see the SMB, the reel to it takes time.
Yeah, and most people attach if they don't have the SMB pre-rigged, they just, you know how some SMBs have like a little clip on them? Well, let me wait, man, then I'll comment.
I'll pause it here for a second. But one of the things I wanted to point out is you saw another problem that happens too with a lot of students is as you're learning, you're so task loaded, you're so focused on inflating your SMB and dealing with your reel and all of that. The next thing you know, you're at the surface, which is what happened to that diver.
So I always teach to have your reel already connected to your SMB. And you never want to use the little clip on the SMB to attach to your reel. That's just a little plastic flappy thing. It should go through a loop in the reel at the end of the line, and the SMB, the reel goes back through that loop and makes sort of a pulley knot on the SMB itself inside of some pretty strong component of the
through the
SMB.
Webbing. Yeah,
the webbing or something like that. Never through the little clip. Also, that's way less that you got to deal with once you're underwater. Like the only thing you should have to do is take it out, roll it out, blow it up, let it go. The rest should be done. And when you get to the boat, don't worry about, let me get it all perfectly back and clipped and back on my BCD. Hand it up, man. I never do that. It's right there. I've already clipped it off. I've reeled it all the way up, right? I've clipped back off the bolt snap. So it's the double ender. So it's locked. I just hand it up. Hand it up. You'll deal with getting the water out of it or whatever other situation you got to do on the boat. So
and in a lot of cases, the people on the boat, like the dive master, will roll it up for you. They'll hand it to you already assembled. It's like, wow, this is awesome.
That's not like, oh, by the way, the skill continues and you got to get it all nice and neat and restowed when you're like already at the surface and at the boat.
Right.
Like,
Right.
who cares about that?
All right, let's continue with this diver right here. Now, notice this configuration. It's an SMB, and the line is pre-wrapped on it, so he has to take the line off of it. I mean, look
I
at
never
the
saw
danger
this.
of entanglement. This is news to me. When I saw this, I'm like, what?
I've never seen this. I've never seen what you're showing me before.
So, yeah, so they take the SMB, and then they're like, well, I guess let's do like 20 feet of line or 6 meters or whatever. And then they wrap it around the SMB, and that's how they carry it.
That's a joke. I think they did this just for the video.
No, this is legit. This is the way these divers have been taught. This is how they carry it.
That's absurd because you never know what depth you're going to be at. Also, he's vertical. You don't have to be vertical. Stay in trim.
Look at the inflation.
No, you could lose that line in a second.
Yeah. Yep.
There's no reel. Is there a reel?
No reel, just line.
So this method, per Woody, in my opinion, is a never, ever, ever method.
Here we go. Another diver's same setup. Look at this.
Never seen it.
I guess. Look. Oh no, reel. Here we go.
Now that I've seen a lot of. I have had to swim under students and catch their reel, and it goes down to 100 feet. It could drop far. This is a pool. Imagine
this is the ocean, pretty shallow.
Well, but imagine that they're at 100-foot spot. That thing's right. It could be dangerous because if the diver goes back down after just finishing a no deco dive, man, they could get bent because they're going to go down, get their reel at 100, and swim straight back up. That's why you lock it off at every stage.
Yeah, and you can also ignore it. Of course, you can be like, okay, well, it just went down. Like if it's any depth, like if it's 200 feet, whatever, you can ignore it. But now it's an entanglement hazard for everyone, right? Your line is just flying around. And you see one of the things that these divers have in common is they didn't inflate enough. And it looks like this diver had the line connected to the BCD, like entangled on the BCD, and he took it with him. Like, watch this. Let's go back for a second. Let's go back because that is dangerous. Okay, so this is the previous guy. Now look, his line and his SMB is all like wrapped up in his BCD, like
that's really bad.
Connected. Dangerous. And that's when he drops the reel. Like, let me just focus on getting the SMB, and the reel just goes to the bottom of the ocean. But you see, it's entangled.
I was going to say, you bring up a really good point to carry your thought out further. Never, ever, when you're stopping after your SMB is deployed, never connect that to you. Like, that's not how you hold it. You hold it in your hand because, man, let's say a boat comes by and grabs that SMB. You know how that'll shred you, man, underwater. Yeah. So we never connect it to yourself.
So see how it's entangled on like the D ring or something on the chest area?
No, it happens. It's not an easy skill. It's not an easy skill.
But watch how dangerous this is here. He just takes it with him. Like, oh.
But look, it's a skill that requires practice. That's what I like about the video. And in fact, don't you want to be the SMB guy every once in a while, Gus?
Yeah.
Because you know when we go diving here in Florida, it's like, I don't really need to fire it, right? I'm with the guide and they're always firing it. But sometimes I want to fire mine.
Yeah.
And by the way, I got separated from my group a few weeks ago and I had to fire it.
Shocker. I thought that was me that always does that. So that's
usually, but basically
like, look at this, Woody. It comes like this. It comes with a line pre-roll.
I know. Maybe I've never seen it.
What is this?
I've just never seen this before anywhere.
Like, how can anyone see this and not see a safety issue with the line just floating off like this? Like, you have to unravel the whole thing.
Are you positive that's how they come and that those exist?
Well, to be honest,
so.
I'm not. I'm not sure because this video, and the reason why it's muted is because it's in German. The whole commentary is in German, and I have no idea.
They made this. That is a made-up thing for this video. I've never seen anybody sell an SMB with just line wrapped around it. Ever.
I've never seen it either until I saw this video, but several people are doing that. Why would they do that?
I think maybe these guys have seen it happen and they're like,
look at the line everywhere.
No, I mean, this is
insanity.
It's just dangerous.
Yeah.
Here comes the other diver about to get their fin in it. Yeah. You wouldn't be able to hold that string.
Rope burns.
So I don't believe this really exists.
Like, okay, here's another guy. Same pouch, same system. And you see that they're all different. This line is orange. The other one was white. So it's not like they're all, let me borrow that for the joke. No, these are all different.
I mean, okay. I have nothing to say. I've just never seen it. But I want to say that I'm not making fun of people that are struggling to fire an SMB. And I don't think you should either, because it is not an easy skill. What I do think you should do, though, is practice firing it in trim. That's all. Practice the skill, because it's a lifesaver.
Yeah. I mean, look at this thing. It's like a magnet. The line is swimming to him. And you know, if it was me, I would be already wrapped in that thing 10 times.
I think we all would. I mean, that's just, you can't hold on to a string underwater in current. But I just wish they were in trim. It's just,
yeah,
it's just easier to do all this.
Look at this.
No, that's bad. Wow. Seriously, no, you got no shot. You know that's not going to work. Looks like an octopus, like a man of war. Well, I mean, come on, this doesn't exist.
I mean, what do you think? The video is CGI?
What company? What dive company said, I know, Gus, I know.
Who came up with this idea?
We'll wrap it up in string.
Look at this. What is happening?
Doesn't exist.
Okay. Getting entangled in 3, 2, 1.
If I was next to you and I saw this, we're all entangled. The whole group is entangled. It's a group entanglement.
Okay. So this guy's inflating with the exhaust on his regulator. Not enough air. Still flat. What are you doing here? Okay, he's going to blow it up a little more. That's good. But, I mean, he's at the surface. Oh, my God. Getting entangled even worse. Oh, no. Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
At the surface. Wow. Okay, this guy's on trim. Let's see. Fingers crossed. Let's see what kind of setup he has. Okay, I don't see line. I don't see line everywhere, so this looks good.
Right. I'm glad we played this video, mainly because what it shows is that this is a skill that you should practice. That's all
right. This guy did a good job.
Practice.
Nice. Great. Good job. Good job. All right. Trim could be better, but no, don't give me the sandwich. Oh, dude, he has a burrito wrapped in line. That SMB burrito. Who is selling this?
I just said don't laugh, but I mean, come on. I mean, how can you not laugh when there's a burrito wrapped up in line underwater? I mean, it's funny.
Say no to SMB burritos.
Yeah, no, we're not doing the burrito model.
No. I mean,
I feel like I don't have mine. I feel like we should just demonstrate the way to stow, have it rigged and stowed and fired. Do you have one handy there?
No.
I don't.
No.
I'm sorry. I don't have one right here next to me. I should have on this video. I think I'm mad at myself.
We can share it later, but man, I'm not even laughing or criticizing the people doing the deployment. This is a hard skill and they're practicing it. So it's awesome. I'm criticizing the manufacturers of the burrito. Like, who came up with that idea? That's a terrible idea. What should be like Aqualung or something, like a big company? I will be blown away. Okay, here we go. Enough air? No, that was nothing. Okay. You can get better. Inflating. Good job. Okay, let's see this guy. I don't see line everywhere, so that's good. Okay.
If I have mine. No, I don't have it handy.
Reel attached, but seems to be entangled with the SMB. Is it inflated? Oh man, this can happen where you like your reel or your spool, if you're firing with the spool, gets all entangled with the rope. And you have some stories, right, from instructors that are using those the reels that get entangled easily.
They think those big reels are the way to go, and then the line goes right down the side of it. I mean, use a finger reel.
That's right.
Why would you not use a finger reel that can't really get tangled? But what I want to comment on is if you fire your SMB for some reason, you decided to use one of those crank reels.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but you did. Maybe you need more line, but you could get big finger reels. And it gets tangled badly. And it's full. What do? And it's pulling you up to the surface. You have a dilemma. Let it go. Don't let yourself fly up from 100 feet straight up to the surface because you're dealing with the tangle. Because new divers, they can't tell that they're moving up. Let it go. Now, it is more dangerous when you get to the surface, and you may be at risk of not being found. That happens.
Absolutely.
Right. So I would say that's why I always carry more than one light as well. Because now if I'm on the surface, no SMB, man, you better sure hope you have a lot of light. Some people even say a mirror, but let's face it, we're not carrying mirrors, right? I mean, who's carrying a mirror? You got a mirror when you're diving ever?
No.
Never seen one person do it. I know in theory it sounds great, but I've never seen them.
Yeah, so and then you learn Morse. You doing the mirror SOS.
Yeah. So it's a hard skill. It's nothing to make fun of. The fact that people struggle with it at the beginning. I struggled with it at the beginning, and if I don't do it often, I'm going to not do it well.
Go backwards. Yeah, no, it's a really tough skill. It's interesting to see people practicing, and I think we can all learn, including the people doing the practicing. They can all learn from watching video, and I really, really enjoy in my classes when I've taken classes and the instructor takes a video because I get to see it back and analyze it and learn from it. But definitely practice it. It was pretty entertaining to see them all. The last guy did the yo-yo method where you let go of the reel and then it kind of floats back to you. That's kind of cool. I don't know how that would work in strong current. Maybe your reel will get away from you. I don't know.
Probably.
Because it's thinner than your body. So I think the water will push you faster. I don't know. But that guy did the yo-yo and it worked pretty good.
Wait, before you disconnect, first of all, I'm really excited that the studio worked great.
Yeah.
I should say that. Give me 1 second. I'm looking just to see. Oh my goodness. I came through for the fans again. Hold on really fast. Look. I'm diving right now in Florida. So this is how I am diving. Look. First of all, forget that this little part's clipped here. It's connected. Can you see it's connected to the SMB right here? You see what I mean? It's just looped in through a knot and boom. So that's permanently connected,
but
right?
Yours is connected to the metal D-ring, but for the ones that are plastic, you will go through the webbing. The webbing that the D-ring is going through.
Right? And then, frankly, the double ender, it's just attached to the line there. It's wrapped around the double ender. And look, it's not attached to the double ender itself. It can move around. It's not attached to the reel, and it's not even attached to the SMB. It actually is less chance of getting clipping off, because if you attach the double ender to the reel, it can knock this open. It can hit this little part and knock it open. Yeah. So I just leave it like this. I mean, I just yanked it out of my pocket, so it's a little not clean right now. And you could just clip this right onto the back, this right here, right on the back of your butt, pull it out, and you're ready to go. It's just like this.
Yeah.
It's just the reel, the double ender, and then this is a knot that's in it. And basically undo it and let her go. And it's very easy. It's very easy. It's already pre-rigged. See, in 2 seconds, you just have the double ender. I'm just undoing it, right? And it would be like this. So now I keep the double ender in my hand, or I'll clip the double ender off on my BCD, right? Because I'm going to use this to lock the reel as I fire it. And look, it's ready to go. Here I am. I've got a reel and I've got an SMB. I would undo it, blow it up, fire it. And then when I want, let's say I fire it, right? It's up. Pretend this is now up on the surface and I'm going to lock it off. I'm going to, I'm stopping at whatever, 20 feet to do my next stop. You have the line right here. You just take your double ender and you just lock the double ender and the line. It would be like, there's your line and connect it to the reel. And now it can't. So it's like this underwater.
Locked in place. Yeah.
This is locked in place. This is up on the surface. And you could just sit there with this out to the side and you're finishing your stop. And then when you want to reel it the rest of the way up, boom, just unclip this, clip it back on your BCD. And look, it's a nice clean reel. Just reel it up. There's no place on the sides for this line to get tangled. And I do think you should buy a good reel, a good figure spool. The line is better. Look at this metal. This one happens to be by Apex. I'm not promoting their brand necessarily, but it just makes the line cleaner, work better. It's already pre-threaded. It's fantastic.
The other thing I will comment about SMBs is that I've noticed also that people buy the cheapest possible SMB. You mentioned something about getting a good finger spool, but also the cheapest possible SMBs, which is typically very short, like a 1 meter SMB, 3 feet, 2 feet. Like they're super short. And what you have to think about is that this thing has to stick over the waves. So if you're on, 4 feet waves, 5 feet waves, which are not unheard of, your SMB won't stick over it. It will be like flashing and then covered by a wave, flashing and covered by a wave. So I think both of our SMBs are 6 feet at least.
This is a 6-footer that I have on this particular rig. I mean, I have a few. Just clip it right on your BCD on the bottom. It's ready to go.
We are both big fans of practicing, right? It's better to practice when you're not in a hurry or in an emergency. And actually, the boat operators, the boat staff, you can just tell them, hey, by the way, I'm going to be deploying my SMB. Doesn't mean it's an emergency. And they will be cool with it, right? You can practice that. We have recorded videos in the past where people are practicing skills in shallow water, just like the skills that we saw in this video. And I'm going to leave that one right here. You guys can enjoy that. Somebody jumping out of the boat and putting all their stuff on their water together. It's pretty interesting to watch. We still haven't done it. We said we were going to attempt it, to jump in with our gear in our arms and then put it on. Still haven't done that, but maybe we'll
open circuit gear.
Open circuit, yeah.
There's no way I'll be there. I would just wave. I'd wave goodbye to you. I like you, love you, and all that, but I'd be like, oh, bye.
Anyway, we'll see you all on the next one.